So welcome.
What's up?
Welcome, brother. How are you?
Man, I can't complain. I'm having a great time. It's just enjoying the time that I have.
Well, Josh Marlow, guys, for those of you that don't know him, obviously you know me, but we're really trying to throw some information out there as far as Wilson County goes. Obviously, Team Wilson as being the Wilson County experts, but we want to be able to interview influential people in the neighborhood, in the really just in our culture in Wilson County. Maybe to have the privilege to know Josh, and our team and Ben and Whitney have known Josh for a long time, and Blake and everybody, and you're just a great guy, man. I can't say enough about you. You're a man of the Lord, and progressed over all these years in the school system, and a lot of people are always looking for information about schools. So
Yeah.
a lot of the times when we're talking about Wilson County, and people are coming in from out of town and whatnot, that's the first thing they ask. Well, where are the good schools around Nashville? I mean, you've been here your whole life, or how long you been here?
I was a product of Wilson County schools. I lived in the Old Hickory, Wilson County side. My dad was an administrator, educator in Wilson County for 40-something years as a principal of multiple schools, and I'm that the byproduct of Wilson County schools.
That's
And I still live here. I'm an administrator at West Wilson Middle School, and I thoroughly enjoy doing what I do.
Yeah, man, it's a blessing to see, to have guys like you in my life, but also to be able to meet people that are actually from here. Like, I'm born and raised in Nashville. A lot of those that know me know that, but we're like unicorns.
We
man.
we are. It's I remember when Mount Juliet Road, Lebanon Road were 2-lane roads, and very little. Local Joe's was an elementary school, but so
That sounds like a diner or something.
it was yeah. So it's been good. Well, this city town is a beautiful city to live in and be a part of.
I heard that a rumor back in the day that Providence used to be like a cow pasture out
Yeah,
there, like it was just fields.
There's old pictures where I think you come over the interstate and the only thing you see is Cracker Barrel. It was Cracker Barrel, nothing else.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
And before it became what it is, I believe there were words on the street of, we'll turn that into an amusement park because Opryland had closed.
Oh yeah.
But
mad about that.
I'm still mad about that. Chaos and Hangman, but
Right.
no, it really is. It's the fabric of Mount Juliet, Wilson County. It's still there. It's that family oriented town, county that people want to come and raise their kids.
Right.
I've had people in my neighborhood moved out of the city because they wanted something that felt safe and felt like an area in which it was family oriented.
Sure.
And that's what Mount Juliet, Lebanon, and the county are.
Well, brother, I know we know our stats and stuff, but we were reading through this in a meeting the other day, and they were talking about Wilson County specifically. They were talking about like all the surrounding counties around Nashville. This is year over year, last year compared to this year. Every county went down in sales, including Nashville, as far as home sales go, except for 3 counties.
Mm-hmm.
And that was Wilson, Williamson, and Dixon County. And anybody that's going into any major metropolitan city, they're always going to ask one thing. They're going to go, well, where's the best schools? Well, predominantly it's normally not in the major metropolitan city like that county. It's going to be a suburb, right? Because the city slickers, there's so much hustle and bustle and major metropolitan movement. It's hard to keep that school system up. But outside of any city, really, there's always a couple of suburbs. Wilson and Williamson County have been known to have some of the best schools around Nashville, and that I think is why we've done so well. I mean, I told you this off camera, but man, we're so blessed and so proud to be in the last 5 years since COVID. Team Wilson has closed in on almost $500 million of business in home sales, and Wilson County is right up there in the top.
That's an unbelievable stat. But schools, Wilson County schools. There's two school systems in Wilson County. There's a Lebanon City Schools, and that feeds majority into Lebanon City. But Wilson County serves the rest of the county, and one of the saying in Wilson County is excellence in everything you do. And so our school system is, and I'm proud to be a part of it. Just a small piece of the whole is that we strive to do what is best for the student, and try to educate them, to make them model citizens, to prepare them for after high school and a careers or college, for whatever it is. But make sure that they're safe and that they have the tools and resources available to learn and to grow.
Oof, that's so good. I'll just tell you, I heard something the other day. It's part of servant leadership, right? Like, you're serving somebody because of what your intention is for them, not for your selfish gains or selfish needs. And that's so important. That's what we do for our clients, and it's good to hear you do that for the kids, because a lot of administrations will just, we're going to do what's best for the school. We don't care what everybody thinks.
No, you have to do what's best for the students. There are decisions that we make as administrators that all decisions should strive around student-centered. And at Wilson County, West Wilson, sorry, that's what we do. We had our vision planning last week and throughout the county, and even our school earlier this week and on Friday, and all our decisions and where we want to go next year is student driven, student centered, and why people want to move to Wilson County for schools. It's because our schools strive for the kids, and we strive for them to be better in everything that they do.
That's so good. That's exactly what I was going to ask you first thing. You already answered it. Because, everybody wants to know what are some reasons that families want to come here, and that's it. That's exactly what they need to know. In all schools, whether it's elementary, middle, or high, families are a part of the fabric of the school. They want to help out. They want to ensure that everything that the kids have or need is taken care of. So we talk about family at our school, and that's what we want. If I want to be a model to those teachers and teachers to students and on down, and that there's a place for them to be safe and have what they need. That's so important in today's world, because where my mind goes with it is just as we're progressing into as they're progressing into society, the world is gonna be so influential in them, right? And we want things to be family centric. People want to be first of all safe.
Absolutely.
They want to be able to go through school at a high level and learn a lot and be able to go into colleges they want to go into. But I was blown away when we were talking about our schedules and stuff to get together. I'm like, he's out of school. He ain't doing nothing. It's a break.
Oh, no.
And you're like, no, man, I'm in meetings. I'm planning. I'm preparing.
School is not August 1st, Memorial Day. And it is for students and teachers,
right.
not even teachers. We're teachers, they work year round, man. They use funds from the school, use their own money. They get donations and grants because we had a teacher the other day writing grants for the science department. So they are working throughout the summer to come August 1st. The students are ready to go. They're prepared, and the students know that when they walk in those doors, the teacher is ready to go with the lesson and whatever else they may need. So our summers are busy. We're preparing all year.
Preparation is key, man. I learned that from my boy Ben, and Be prepared for every meeting. Be prepared, and it means a lot. You know what it means is that you care.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, when
you know,
you're prepared.
You've been in. We've all been in meetings where you walk in and you're like, no, I don't know about this, and you're
tell.
prepared, and you're like, okay, I might have to try, guide a little bit more, but
Right.
Preparation is key, and that's why all our schools in Wilson County, all the admin teams, they work during the summer. Yeah, they take breaks here and there, just like they should, and because I think taking a Sabbath is truly important to rest, but they're preparing just like West Wilson, because you talk about why families move. It's because we are one of the top public school systems in the state that year in, year out have the data to back it up.
Yeah. Well, you guys have definitely been prepared, and that's why you perform, right? And I think, as we describe Wilson County schools, to get into the culture and the values a little bit about, these are things that obviously aren't curriculum based, but just in your experience as you've been brought up through the schools, I mean, what do you feel like some of the values are that create the culture? Because I've always been told culture, for me, a long time, culture was like something that you talk about. Like we are this, we do this, but culture is almost a result of what you've proven. Like,
It's what we do.
Right.
Culture, like our culture comes from the vision of implementation. It goes back to planning. It goes back to our leaders from Mr. Electoral down to the building administration, the teachers, having a focus of doing the right things, being prepared, building this culture of excellence, this sustainability, and making sure that when these students leave our school system, they are prepared, whether it's college, whether it's some type of skill-based job, vocational,
or
whatever it may be, that we have given them every tool to the best of our ability necessary for them to succeed in society as they leave high school.
That's awesome, man. What really stands out to me when I moved to Wilson County, because I'm born and raised here, and I came from the west side of town. I went to Hillwood High School. I went to I went to a lot of different schools. But to be honest, man, being able to go through things as a young adult, I'll never forget. Like, I got into college and I had some life circumstances hit me right up here in the jugular.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, there's no way I can finish college, And I think kids in general, and I'm just speaking for myself, you plan for certain things to happen in life, and then life just smacks you right. Now, I think the famous quote by Mike Tyson is, everybody's got a plan until you get hit in the face.
100%.
Right? And so my plan didn't go as planned, and I didn't graduate college. I for a long time felt defeated because of that, but what I did was I grabbed on to what I felt like my calling was in serving others and serving people, and that's gotten me to where I'm at. So I don't regret it. I don't any of that, but I love the fact that our schools are going to help kids have a clear perspective, because it's so hard in those young adolescent days to figure out what I got to do. This for the rest of my life.
Wilson County Schools has molded me, not just because my dad was a principal here, but or I'm a teacher. Yes, it's molded me for 35 years. I'm 40 years old, and well, you could say 40 if you wanted to. But
You're younger than that.
When I was it prepared me for life at 14. I had some health complications that basically had me go to homebound for basically my freshman year of high school. I had a surgery that went wrong that left me paralyzed from the waist down, and I had to learn how to walk again. But Wilson County, you talk about family, you talk about helping. walking through situations with families and students to do what's best for the student. Wilson County, not just my situation of where they walked with my parents and walked with me to provide me the resources I need to be successful in the classroom because of the issue, the difficult times.
Yeah.
But it's even true. I can speak on that. It's true today that Wilson County still works and wants what's best for the student, no matter their circumstance. And because Wilson County truly does care, and this.
You've seen it
firsthand. I've seen it with me, and I've seen it in other instances, whether I was a teacher or an administrator, that kids are going to come from different backgrounds and have different issues. But the one thing I can truly say is that when parents drop their kids off in the morning at whatever school they drop them off at, they're gonna hopefully have confidence in what
you guys are teaching them and everything you're bringing to the table. I mean, that's a beautiful story, man, because that means people truly care. And I think nobody gets in the school industry because you want to make a lot of money. Nobody gets into it because you want it truly is a servant posture, and I believe that comes from the heart.
Yes.
I believe it comes from your walk with faith, and your love for families and your love for people. Because
you have teachers who show up at 2 hours before school starts, and you have them staying until 6. Some of them doing tutoring without even getting paid. Some are a lot of them are either coaching or having clubs to where they're trying to involve students in school sponsored clubs like student council or government club, like when I say government, like youth in government, or more like Lego or whatever it may be, just to keep kids involved, because we feel like if you're involved that you're taking ownership of that.
So it's a selfless job. I mean, we know that is, you're not doing it for selfish reasons. You're doing it because you truly care about others.
Teacher, I could say most teachers are in that for that. Yes, yeah. That they are here to serve. They want to see students to be successful. And I've heard that phrase. It's a thankless job. I don't see. It's a rewarding job.
Yeah.
And
I love that.
You could be frustrated with a student, and then you get that aha moment.
Yeah.
And that tells you, that's why you do what you do.
I was talking with my friend Kevin Stewart. He's a big Kobe Bryant fan, and he was talking about the story where Kobe, he'd always show up from practice like before the whole team. Mm-hmm. You've heard the stories or whatever. But it reminds me of the teachers you're talking about, because they're showing up hours before everybody gets there to prepare. Kobe was the same way, right? Like, he was super prepared. So when it came down to the game-winning shot, he didn't want anybody else to have the ball because he knew he was more prepared than his other people on his team, right? And that's exactly what you're talking about. It's you guys are setting them up for success afterwards. So let's talk a little bit about, like, what success looks like after school, what is it that you feel like?
You talk about after high school?
Correct. So, like, I'm talking about after graduation, let's say college or other plans.
Well,
and it doesn't have to be that.
I'll tell you this, we have some we have awesome high schools. I've worked in 2 of them. And, within our school district, we have schools that offer associate's degrees if you qualify, that by the time they leave high school, they already have their associate's degree.
Hello.
With a diploma, high school diploma. So they're going into college 2 year. They're already working on their major more than likely.
Brother, I probably would have had a degree if I'd have had that situation.
And then you have kids are getting college credits for class. They may not get their associate's degree, but they're going to get 18 hours of college credit. You have some high schools that are when they leave, they're industry certified in multiple industries,
Ready to go into
whether
the
it's
workforce.
nursing or welding or whatever else.
That's cool.
So
We had auto mechanics, and that was
Yeah.
about it. Like,
No.
you learn how to work on an engine, and that's
but we and it's growing. I don't, we're offering new things every day. The middle school, because of the success of our high schools, it's starting to bleed into our middle schools. We're starting programs that will, just bleed it right into the high school. So when kids go to the high school, they already have those backgrounds, so you can push them even further while they're here for a better understanding. So when they leave, whatever they want to do, whether it's college, where you still get your, if you qualify, you get your HOPE and whatever else. A lot
Sure.
of
that scholarship.
and you can go ahead and have a associate's degree. You can be industry certified.
They
you
got
can,
options.
You can go to we have ROTC programs.
Wow.
When I was at Wilson Central, we had multiple students
Enroll in the military.
roll into West Point, or so so there'll be an officer when they graduate. So there are so many options that our district affords students, and prepares them in a way for them to leave with an expectation, knowing they should be ready for moving forward and whatever it is they do.
That's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I know we talked, just speaking of that a little bit about the end. So what I wanted to know is a lot of people, especially watching this, and they're trying to learn about Wilson County schools. Let's talk about the beginning and how you guys foster a welcoming environment to families or students that are coming from out of town, coming from, as we would say, they ain't from around here, right? So, I just wanted to kind of understand that, because like I always tell people this, especially because I have a lot of people from out of town.
Yeah.
They go, man, your culture is just different. Everybody's so nice here. And I said, well, if they ain't nice, they're probably not from around here. So
Well, we treat anybody that we want. We treat everyone the way that we want to be treated.
golden rule.
So when you walk in the door, especially at West Wilson Middle School, you're going to get a welcoming face.
That's good.
You're going to get what you need, whether it's registration and details of what needs to be done. But there's also always a welcoming face, and we want families to be treated just like we would treat our own.
That's good. So clear communication is a big
communication. We strive to have open houses, and certain schools have parent night or family nights.
Nice.
So
they can meet other families.
Yeah. So
and stuff.
and then we have fall festivals, spring, like ways for parents and families to be involved
Right.
in their child's school, while also giving back, and the school providing ways for them to be involved.
So that helps develop a community amongst families and
Absolutely.
stuff, them meet each other.
Mhm.
I tell you, one of the most frustrating parts for me anyways, and I know other parents, just because, the size of my kids and my littles are, just getting started in this school. So when you're a parent and you just have a kid very first starting out in elementary school or whatever, you don't know what to expect. And I think clear communication, what I found was really cool about the Wilson County schools our kiddos are in, it's shout out Gladeville Elementary. They were really good at having clear communication on what you need to do as a parent, what you need to sign your kids up for, what you're responsible for, where your kids are going to be. Because these are all the questions floating around in a parent's head of like, what is going on here?
Right.
And nothing can frustrate you more if you don't have that communication.
I've always it's been told to me and over again that it's always better to over communicate than under communicate. And now, am I perfect at that? No, but we strive to be, because it brings a sense of calm. It brings a sense of, okay, this is where we need to be. And if we don't know the answer, we're going to find the answer for you, and somebody's going to call and let you know what it may be. So, but as for elementary, obviously I can't speak too much of that just because I'm not involved. But going to 5th grade nights, like graduation nights for elementary, because of schools go in, these kids come to us, you can see that culture where as you walk around and listening and them thanking teachers or principals, thank you for these last 6 years or 2, however long, because you gave us a piece of, hey, when we drop our kid off, that we know that we're going to get our child's going to be safe and come home with a smile on his or her face, and that we do try to do that every day.
That's good, man. That has got to be one of the biggest gratitude pieces of doing what you do, because you get to hear some of that, like the little kids that are prepared coming into West Wilson Middle or wherever they're going into middle school or whatever. They're coming into that environment prepared because you feel like you're probably grateful for the teachers that taught them before they got to you, that like, man, they put in some work. These kids are smart.
Yes, they I think we tend to forget how smart these kids are. And these kids come into middle schools ready to go.
Sharp as a tack. And
it's a big transition. We do have large middle schools here, and but these kids come into middle schools and thrive. You talk about why kids and why families move. It's because we have a great vertical alignment with all elementary, middle school, high school of being on the same page for when they transition to each school, each grade. At that, they're ready. They're ready to go. Do this, whether you love them in kindergarten, you love them in 12th grade, and love them in between. But you're going to foster. I would pretty much say all our schools foster growth in everything that they do, and that's why you see so much success from the state each year about reward schools.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I see it on paper. I see it like statistically. Obviously keep up with that stuff, and you do too. But let's just talk about you mentioned something from showing love, right? Showing stuff, feelings from the heart, and care from the heart. I guess what I'd really like to know, and a lot of families out there that haven't moved here or thinking about moving here, what are just some maybe some examples or some things you might have heard from new families coming from different environments that have moved to Wilson County schools and have said, man, this is great?
It starts, like you said, it does start with communication. We've had families move in that need help with an interpreter, so we have the ability to communicate and make it an easy transition, and we work to explain what needs to be done, or here's our rules and our procedures, and this is what we would love for you to do or help us with, and this is our expectations for you. We've had people move in with from across the country, and were surprised by how nice we were, and just how we treated them with kindness, and as they made that transition, because we've had kids move from Oregon at the end of April, and here they have 4 weeks of school left, and we try to.
It's a huge culture shock.
It's a huge, but we also try as a school find a pocket for that type to have these students assimilate into our schools to be a part of the school, even if it's that way when they come back to us next year or are ready if they move on to another high school, that they have some friends or they have some people that they can touch base with as they move forward. When we move in, our goal is to have students involved. And I think if you look at all the schools, even in elementary school, they have beta clubs, they have student council in the elementary schools.
Okay.
Keeping kids involved and teaching them to take ownership of that. And I think that does tend to allow parents the realization that, okay, it's okay. And we can calm down and ease it, the concerns that they may have.
All the worries and stuff. I know that's always a big fear of people, and I think that's a beautiful part of why I love having you as a friend, man, because faith eliminates fear, right?
Yeah.
And you show me that you're an inspiration to me, brother, and all that you've been through, and knowing that, sometimes to get rid of all the fear that we have in our own heads, it's all about having faith in the right things.
It's
right? Because people don't come from Oregon because they don't have faith. They came this way because they had faith that was all going to work out.
I think I tell you, I use that when students are struggling, and you talk into them about, hey, you're going to be okay, and you say, I use we started this conversation off with a story of overcoming adversity and as a 14-year-old. A lot of the kids that I come in contact with daily are students who are almost at that age, and I can see myself when I was that 14-year-old needing those teachers that took me under their wing, and when I needed help, I wouldn't say they necessarily just dropped, they dropped everything and helped. They did.
Right. They were there.
They were there, or they would have students who I have that peer buddy who, they had things in place, and if they didn't, they would find a way. And that was 2002 is the same thing as 2025 in Wilson County schools. That's just and for when I talk to students about they're having bad days, I say, hey, look, I may not be in your shoes, but just know, it's going to be better. And it may not be tomorrow, it may not be today, but just trust the process, and just continue to do what you need to do, and other things will take care of themselves.
The truth will set you free, my friend. The truth will set you free.
But no matter whether you're teaching, you're in real estate, or private job or private business, you're teaching.
Right.
You're teaching and you're giving back.
I love that. And part of my brand is to serve and not sell, right? So I want to be able to make it to the pearly gates and him tell me, well done, faithful follower and servant. That you've done a great job while you were there, and I think having a servant posture is key in anything you do, any kind of customer service, any kind of, you don't think about it, but almost in every industry, you're serving someone else, right? You're serving goodwill. You're serving whatever it may be.
The servant heart though does say, yes, you're serving, but make sure it's with good intent. Don't serve to make to be on a billboard. I mean,
right.
And so do it in a way that's pleasing to God, and not because it's self-serving to yourself. And I think when you do it with good intent, beautiful things happen. Whether it's in schools or real estate or private business, beautiful things happen when you do it with the right intention.
That's so good.
And we lead. That's we're called. Some of us are called to lead. Some of us are called to do some other things. And that's if that's what you're called to do, then do it with a servant heart.
Right. And there's going to be sacrifice in any of it, and whatever you choose to do. But So Ben and our team were together this morning, and we were talking about success in general. And one of the things that I had heard, it was on Craig Rochelle's podcast.
Mm-hmm.
He has a Harvard professor in there, and he's talking about this. He's talking about the study of the brain. And this guy coaches or teaches at Harvard to college students that are trying to be successful,
Yeah.
right? And he said, I'm going to simplify this for you really easily. He said, a lot of people are seeking success so that they can be a great father, a great husband. They want to be their faith, fitness. They're I'm going to give all that, everything I got once I'm successful. He said, no, you got it all wrong. If you are great and really are present in your faith, in your fitness, and with your family, success is just going to happen. It's just going to happen, right? And I think you guys are focused on the right things. I know you're focused on the right things. I mean, shoot, you just shot a 44 in 9 holes the other day. I'm trying to not be the worst golfer in Tennessee, and I'm excited for the future, for what is in store for you and what God has in store for you.
And I do. I think, I mentioned it to you before recently. It's good things are happening, and as long as you trust and follow and lead in a way that's pleasing to God, and focus on your family, faith, and just let it follow and listen, and things will happen, things you may not even think about. As long as you follow what God has in store for you, you can't really go wrong with that.
You can't go wrong, buddy. I'll give you one last question, and that's actually funny because Ben had asked this earlier in our meeting. He said, so if there was one thing, just one, you do a lot of things, but if there was only one thing that you could be remembered by, that you wish others would continue to do when you're gone, talking about legacy, right? Talking about, what others are going to remember Josh for. And so that one thing, what do you think that would be for you? Just that one thing that people are going to go, I want to continue to do what Josh did.
He cared. He put everything into helping others be successful and giving them a place, an outlet to have a discussion and seek guidance. But and I want to be that person for somebody else, to be there for people, to continue to push people to be a better self, a better version,
best version of yourself.
And you're always chasing that. And but for me, I want to leave where I gave back, and I did it in a way where I didn't really want credit. I did it because that's who God has asked me to do, and being able to talk into people's lives in a Christian way.
That's a beautiful thing. In
a godly way.
Brother, you got a gift, and you definitely do that at a high level. So I appreciate your time, my friend.
Thank you.
God bless you, brother.